Fuck you. That's my...
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Sharks Across Tokyo. I think I'm turning Japanese. Do you really think so? I think it's time to turn Japanese. I don't fucking know. I should have said that last week when it was our first episode of Sharks Across Tokyo instead of today. It's really hot in here. You'll probably hear the air conditioners blowing because the Rev is a pussy and can't handle it without it, man. We can't just sweat for our art in here.
It's too fucking hot to turn that AC off right now. I'm sorry. It's already hot in here.
It's not too
hot. If he turns that AC off, it's going to go from hot to a fucking... I don't even know what. I can't even think of something to say.
It's going to go from hot
because it's so fucking hot already. It's hot with the AC on. It's hot.
It's going to go from hot to lubed up slot because that's what happens when you get all sweaty. Butthole. That's the slot because we're dudes.
It's going to turn into a Nelly song in here.
We're going to talk about Zeiram. It's pronounced all different ways across all the things.
I thought I heard them say Zeiram.
Did when you watched it on Tubi? Was it Japanese or was it okay? So it wasn't dubbed.
Japanese with subtitles.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. The computer, whose name is Bob, I heard him say Zeiram. I watched the dub version today because I thought you were going to end up watching the dubbed version. She calls him Zeiram. Actually, weirdly enough, though the dub actors are actually pretty good.
Yeah,
which is surprising. Like maybe all dub acting is like that, but I'm like, oh no, they were actually pretty good. They were.
I guess the only memory I really have is from being a kid and watching a Godzilla movie when I was a kid, and because I mean, as a kid, you're very aware of Godzilla. Obviously, you can't not be aware of Godzilla. So I thought, oh, Godzilla, this is going to be a great, like, this is just going to be big monsters. That's awesome, right? It was on TV, so I turned it on. No Godzilla for so much.
What are
of
all
that
these
movie.
fucking people doing here?
It's just all these people talking and their words aren't matching their lips, and it sounds really fucking weird to me, and I'm going, what is happening? This is weird.
That is funny, because maybe, I don't know which Godzilla movie you were talking about.
I don't know.
Some of them get really dumb like later on, but maybe it helps if it's a less serious movie also.
I have no idea. I don't know which Godzilla it was. I know it was a Godzilla movie, and I know that it definitely, it had the dub going on, and I was struggling so hard to come to grips with the fact that their lips did not match the words, and I just felt like Hollywood had betrayed me or something like that.
You had a lot of those.
I was a little kid. I was like probably I was definitely single digits, probably 6 or 7.
But you seem to have a lot of those moments. You're like, I'm 5 years old. Fuck this Hollywood bitch bullshit. They're fucking, the words don't even match their thingy whatever. And then.
Well, it's when you're a kid, you have very clear ideas on how things are supposed to be.
And then it happened again. You fucking Star Wars, this fucking movie sucks. And I'm going to cry about it. It was really not that bad. But everybody
Phantom Menace was that bad. I'm sorry. Phantom Menace is a piece of shit.
Phantom Menace really isn't that bad.
Phantom Menace is a piece of shit.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's a piece of shit.
It has some really bad bits, but it's
just
okay.
It's a very poorly structured story.
Who cares? George Lucas has never been good at story shit anyways.
That first Star Wars, masterpiece. But again, it's based on a Kurosawa story. So
yeah, that was not him.
Yeah. And then Empire, was neither written nor directed by Lucas. So
he had the concept, and then he's like, here, take this and make a good movie this time.
Empire's the one. Like, Empire is the shit.
Erwin Kershner's a better director than George Lucas ever was. So
yeah,
but yeah, Phantom Menace isn't that bad. But I'm gonna keep making fun of you, and then
Phantom Menace is pretty bad. Look, now don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like it's unwatchably bad necessarily. If you're easily entertained by big spectacle, it does have big spectacle. I'll give it that. The pod race, very exciting. The big battle at the end, as stupid as it is very exciting. But again, like they aimed it at like a
Toddlers.
third grade mentality, but then it's also a political drama.
Okay, I will give you it is uneven. I didn't say it was like a good movie. I just said it wasn't that as bad as everybody like pretends like it is.
Okay, but
It really
it's a bad movie. It might not be like, it's not ruin your life bad or anything. It's not your Vietnam.
You people would make it seem that way.
It's because it was a betrayal to us.
You guys need to get over it.
It was a betrayal.
It's fine.
It was a betrayal.
Jake Lloyd retired from acting. We can all be
I
happy
feel very
now.
bad for Jake Lloyd. I feel very bad for Jake Lloyd.
Anyways,
He was just a kid. He didn't deserve that.
it just kept going, and every time something happened, you're just like, I'm too cool for this fucking movie now. Nothing's fun anymore. And then you finally hit your 30s, and you're like, you know what? I'm not fun anymore.
Man, I wasn't fun anymore in my 20s.
You weren't fun, but you realized it when you were 30.
That's true. I realized it when I was in my 30s.
I don't know how much of that is true.
You're not entirely wrong.
I'm just.
I
giving
wish
him
I
shit
could
at
write
this
you
point.
off completely, but
Because every time we talk, you're always like, this fucking movie ruined my life for whatever reason for a minute.
every time we talk, like I've got so many of those.
And I had one experience like that, and then I gave it up very quickly. It was with Ninja Turtles, and I'm just like, fuck it, fuck you, Michael Bay. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm over it. Who cares? And then if they wouldn't have listened to all the people bitching about it, that movie could have been better.
See, if your big betrayal is over a franchise where combat cold cuts is a highlight, it's not the same thing. My big betrayal was over fucking Star Wars. All three of those movies are on the list of 100 greatest American movies ever made.
You know what
even
else
though
they are?
Jedi is significantly further down on the list.
You know what else they are? Overrated.
My point stands, though. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, nowhere on that list. It's not even 1,000 spots below that list.
It's number one in my heart.
I don't doubt that for a second, Andrew. I don't doubt that for a second.
I used to look at the 100 greatest movies of all time and be like, yes, I should, you know what I should do? I should just sit down and I should watch every one of these, dude. Oh, it'd be so great. Then I'm like, don't care about The Godfather. Sorry, everybody. Just don't care. Too long. Don't care.
It's a damn good movie. I watched it with my kids. We all enjoyed it.
Not that I don't care in the sense that I like wouldn't enjoy it. I'm just like, I'm not that into gangster movies to begin with.
That's fair. It's
I would much rather just have a good time and watch The Guyver again.
But it is a good time. That's the thing about like a really great movie. Like those really great movies are very entertaining. They're not just
I'll
great,
give you
they're
that.
also very entertaining.
I should probably grow up myself a little bit.
That's the American movie thing, though. Like if you're talking about like European movies and stuff like that, and Japanese movies, like their great movies are sometimes not very entertaining. Like The Seventh Seal. The Seventh Seal is an unquestionably great movie, but I'm not going to pretend that that's super entertaining.
Other countries have like very like a movie like this. This actually flows. We're fucking way off topic, but this movie flows way better than the last one.
Yes,
but they just have a different way of telling stories over there.
This movie. Okay, I guess we should.
We should just break into it. Let's stop talking about all this other stuff. This is Sharks Across Tokyo. Fuck America, especially right now. Fuck it hard. And I'm like wheezing through my teeth every time I say fuck. I don't know what's happening. I'm like whistling. But anyways, fuck it. I tried to recreate it and it didn't work.
Of course, the second you draw attention to it, it stops happening. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay, your thought. Continue.
This movie doesn't really have a plot.
It has more of a plot than the last one.
Which is saying nothing at all.
But
that's like saying 2 is more than it is 100% more than 1. Yes, it is. This has probably 300% more plot than Hokkaido did, but that's because Hokkaido had like 2% plot.
Yes.
So this one has 6% plot.
This one, right away, was a way better movie, in my opinion.
This is an episode of Power Rangers.
Your problem?
I don't have a problem with it. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I didn't say it's not fun, but that's all this is. This has as much depth and thought put into it as an episode of Power Rangers. What it does have that Power Rangers doesn't have is some cool gory effects. But that's it. That's it. Aside from that, this is straight up. This entire thing could have been an episode of Power Rangers and lost nothing. Bulk and Skull are the two guys who get sucked into the dimension with the Power Rangers fighting some monster that Rita sent down, because this monster here's our great explanation. Zeiram has escaped. What's her name?
Iria.
Iria and Bob, go get him. That's the setup.
Yep.
That's it.
You really want more than that?
Which admittedly is more than Hokkaido. But I will say this, if I have to choose between the two, I prefer Hokkaido because the unspoken backstory of that world is way more interesting than this.
This world does eventually get a backstory. So there is a Zeiram 2.
Okay.
Basically the same idea. It's the same thing, just kind of in a different environment, and Zeiram looks a little different.
Did I say Hokkaido instead of Zeiram?
Yes.
I probably
You'd rather watch Zeiram instead of Hokkaido?
No, I'd rather watch Hokkaido.
Okay,
You
you said you'd rather watch Hokkaido.
No, but I think what I said was Hokkaido has escaped or something like that instead of Zeiram has escaped.
Oh,
anyway,
I don't know, maybe.
Whatever the case is, that's the introduction. Is Zeiram has escaped, and then there's kind of a cool sequence of him, just like destroying everybody in silhouette, and then that's it. Then now he's on his way, and
Hokkaido kind of starts out the same way.
Yeah, kind of. It's
same director, like we said last time.
At least in Hokkaido they explain how he escaped. Like these guys broke in, and then he escaped. So like there was that much set up to it. Having said that, though, there is more story here just because we have our Bulk and Skull characters who come into it, and they actually bring some plot with them.
And they're
and they do contribute to the story. It's not like they're just there to be comic relief.
Not like Kaoru, whatever her fucking name was, who just shows up to be like, I like you. I'm going to die now.
Yeah.
Which was fine. Again, I didn't
No,
really...
it worked just fine. Yeah. I'm not complaining about this. I'm just saying, like, that's the depth of story we're playing with here is an episode of Power Rangers. Just be aware of that. Don't expect more from it than that. If you are aware that that's where we're going, and that I will say this movie is 20 minutes too long at least.
Maybe a little. I didn't hate it. I mean, I didn't hate it. Obviously, I didn't hate it. It is maybe a little too long.
It's a bit too long. This movie should have been an hour 8. This is an hour 38.
But I think this has a few more cool scenes than Hokkaido did. So let's talk about it. So like you said,
I don't think it ever hits the heights that the final battle in Hokkaido hit. That's not to say I didn't like the final battle here. I did. Especially...
I like the creature effects better here.
Especially that final creature effect was very, very cool. So I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, like, I feel like the artistic vision of Hokkaido was a little bit better than this. That whole thing, with the white room, with the bleeding walls.
And also Hokkaido had like years of history already intact. Sort of. This was a completely original thing.
Oh, there was
no source material as far as I know for this.
That would explain why there doesn't feel like there's any depth to this.
Because so I was gonna say earlier,
Hokkaido, you do feel that felt that there was a lot going on that we hadn't been told.
Even though that stuff technically doesn't matter, but like they had like stuff to draw.
But it was there
for him.
Yeah.
So I did mention that there's a a Zeiram Part 2.
Yes.
But there's also a 6-episode anime prequel. So you get to see Bob. Bob is Iria's little sidekick computer, and Bob was once a person, and his consciousness is apparently in this computer, and you get to meet Bob as a person in the prequel.
Oh.
And you get to see the origins of Zeiram and why it's very, very much a female character. That is what the director said. Also, and
it's got a very female face.
Yes,
that little face is definitely.
And you get to see what her actual motivations are for
Okay.
doing all this stuff.
Okay.
And it's on Tubi also. So
that's the
check that shit
biggest shortcoming here is
I would have liked to know what this crazy
know
thing was up to.
Yeah, what it was thinking.
But instead, what we get is some of, honestly for me, some of the coolest shit I've ever seen in a movie. I love all this crazy nonsense. It's like gross.
You're gonna have to tell, because there are some things that I can think of right off the top of my head that I'm like, yes, that's very cool, and that's very cool. But then there's some other shit where I'm like, I really don't care about that. I could have done without that. Like our two male protagonists, so to speak. I mean, really, what's her? I've lost her name again.
Iria.
I keep thinking Irina, and I know that's wrong. Iria is basically the protagonist, but we have these two male comic relief characters who are who really just buffoons. But they do each have their moments, and some of them are very cool. There's the older guy who is just comically inept at most things.
His name is Kamiya.
But then technically he's very skilled.
He was you were in World War II, right? He's like, asshole, I'm not that old. Yeah. Then
How old do you think I am?
Then the other guy's named Teppy, and their motivations are relatively similar. Like, they just want chicks.
They're both trying to they're trying to get done with their workday so they can get laid. That's it. That's their whole motivation.
And one of my favorite parts
then to survive.
Yeah. Well, now after this.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about this movie is that there's no romantic subplot.
I do like that.
Like the dude's
because
like,
I wouldn't have bought it for a second. It would
like
have
the
been
old
stupid.
guy, the older one, Kamiya, at the beginning when he's kind of following Iria around because she dropped an apple. He's like, yeah, she's super hot. Look at this chick, but there's no romance at all.
Yeah. At no point do they try and force chemistry between these two. He's a buffoon. She's a trained killer, and they maintain their roles throughout. Like there's no attempt to try and merge these two. I'm not saying that a story like that could never work, but in this case, it would not have worked, and I'm glad they did not do it.
Yeah, no, and apparently it's the same thing. They show up in the sequel, and they're just kind of there to be buds and be her friends and
see that I can
help her
completely
out.
buy
Yeah.
a friendship developing between these guys because they all went through this thing together, So I could totally see them all becoming friends. The final shot of the movie, the whole thing. All right, I'm there for all of that. Don't try and sell me on any of these characters hooking up together though.
No, so let's the very opening of the movie is like this really stylized. It's black and white. You see Zeiram in her, I guess, like silhouette, which you see them for like most of the first like half hour of the movie, and just murdering the shit out of all these people, blood flying everywhere.
By the way, the transfer on this is way better.
Oh, good.
Than on Hokkaido.
I am so happy for you.
A lot better.
We go 13 minutes in this movie before we get a title card, which I fucking love. I love super long cold opens, especially like the cold open that gives us everything we need to know about every character in the movie before the title card even pops up. Like, that makes me so happy. I love that.
I don't think it works as a cold open. Like
it's not a cold open.
Just
They're just
structurally
like,
speaking.
Like, oh shit, we forgot to put the title card.
That's kind of what it feels
here.
like. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like.
It's not like when you get to Pacific Rim and they go like 20, 30 minutes into the movie before the title card pops up.
I'll tell you what, though. Here, they kind of shot themselves in the foot in terms of the reveal. Because the reveal of the title specifically is what I mean. Because the first word of the script is Zeiram has escaped. They shouldn't have said that. They should have said warning, warning, imminent escape, something like that. Not said the name of the creature. And then she goes and she's like, we'll name this project Zeiram. And then that's when the title card comes up, is as she types that into the computer.
Yep.
It's like that should have been the name reveal.
But it is not.
But it's not.
But I still love a long as fuck cold open. Like, it's completely pointless. It doesn't matter.
I like a long cold open when it feels tonally right. In this case, it didn't. So it is a weakness. It didn't ruin the story for me or anything like that. But this is again, there's so much of this movie that could have been trimmed. I'd have trimmed a little of this cold open. Not necessarily a ton, because it is setting up stuff.
So another thing about this movie, it was supposed to be, apparently the director originally envisioned it as a sequel to, he originally envisioned it as a sequel to Cyber Ninja.
I haven't seen Cyber Ninja.
Me neither, and it pisses me off because again, there's no good releases of it. There's a bootleg website that I found.
Is this one of those things one of those grails you've been searching for
a little while? Yeah, I heard about it and I've seen like clips from it, and it looks exactly like this.
Okay.
So if you'll watch this and be like, oh yeah, I know this was definitely directed by the same guy. And we've seen 3 of his movies, and they're all kind of the same.
What were the other 2?
So it's this one, Zeiram, and Hokkaido, and
that's right, it's the same guy who did Hokkaido.
Kamen Rider ZO, and that was light on plot also.
Yeah, but
it's Kamen Rider, so we just kind of expected to know things.
He's got an MO for sure. This guy, he puts together a good action sequence. And these movies are pretty fun. He's really into the body horror thing and like gross out stuff, which I'm very much in favor of. Like the villain in Kamen Rider Zeo was fucking gross.
Oh, that weird spider. was fucking gross. Oh, that weird spider. Wait, which one was
No,
it? I don't even
that
remember.
was like the green sewer lid
Oh my god.
creature, remember?
No, because we watched so many of those Kamen Rider things.
I posted it on our Instagram. That like it was so cool.
There's so many of those weird monsters all over that entire series. I'm just like, oh my god, it's all running together. It's all awesome, but I can't keep it straight.
Wasn't that one spider monster in Zeo? Is that the one you're referring to?
I think so. Yeah, I think that was the spider.
Because that was really fucking cool too. And the Zeiram monster actually reminded me of it because of the the head dick thing.
But then it also had that.
Well, like when it comes out, it's got that same jaw, like the completely unhinging jaw.
So you thought the same thing I did. I'm like, it's a penis. So the first 13 minutes, we literally meet all the characters and get all their motivations for everything that's about to happen. The two human characters, I guess you'd call them, their entire motivation is, we're working on Sunday, we need to be done by 5 so we can get to our respective dates. And of course that never works because one of them takes a call and he's like, yeah, we'll fucking do it. And then the older guy's like, dude, you can never say no, can you? You fucking dumbass. So they go to it's a call for stolen power. They're electricians. So they end up going to this building where Iria and Bob have set up their little thing, and they're just stealing all this electricity, and there's so much shit going on.
And
there's
it's
all
not
this
subtle
equipment,
either.
Not
like
subtle
they just plugged
in
a
the
big
slightest.
red wire into the transformer.
Yeah. There's a giant red wire leading right to this building, and that's where they meet Iria. Shit happens. They're bounty hunters, Bob and Iria, and Bob is constantly like, if you do this, we'll lose money. We'll have to pay for this. I'm like, shut up, Dad. You're fucking annoying. He's not wrong, but it's just really funny because like that's.
Well, Bob is actually the one who recommends that they set up the zone, which is like
the zone,
which is like
cool.
a parallel mini universe within a certain area. Like apparently, what they do is they take an area, the area that Zeiram was going to land on Earth, and they created a parallel universe there that he fell into that is actually in a completely different dimension.
So that way they can keep like all the civilians out of harm's way and stuff.
So they get to use regular street sets, but there's nobody there. It's clever. I didn't hate that. I did feel like it was a little third gradery, like it was the kind of thing that like a third grader would come up with in order to explain something. But at the same time, that did not stifle my enjoyment of this thing.
No, it's not meant for kids necessarily, but it's based on things for kids. It's like a more violent version of the kid thing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be complicated. Just figure out a way to get these characters to do the thing that they're supposed to be doing and just move on. You don't have to try that hard. It's not about that.
I appreciate good effort. Where I saw the good effort on this was in the character design of Zeiram. Very strong. Liked it a lot. Plus the transformation, all that stuff. I dug Zeiram like start to finish. Like starting it out almost like some kind of like death samurai ghost thing with this weird like feminine face in its hat,
the kabuki face kind of thing, or geisha.
And then like there's this slow evolution, and then like it rips off all of its clothes, and it's this nasty meat machine underneath, very creepy, kind of insectile. It's got like the little grub claws going down its neck and into its chest.
Later on in my notes, I call it a predator throat vagina.
There you go. Yeah, sort of, and then. Eventually, it evolves into a John Carpenter's The Thing sprouting tits.
Like this dude definitely was inspired by a lot of 80s movies.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. It's very cool. And then of course, like there's the skeletonized version of it. It's the creature design on this is very cool. Very like you said, inspired by like the best of 80s body horror and stuff.
It's
so
great.
like between Cronenberg and Carpenter, you can get a pretty good idea of where they go with this.
And that's really all I need. This stuff is just about spectacle. You don't need this storyline. Who cares?
I'd like some of the fights to be a little more exciting because that first fight between the two of them is kind of boring.
The one where she's like karate kicking him and stuff.
And she's like they're shooting each other from like Weird Al Yankovic in UHF. They're 12 feet apart.
Yep.
Both of them, bow, 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 bow. And neither of them are doing shit to each other. It's like, where are the stakes in this fight? Come on.
Nowhere yet.
Yeah, but that's the problem. It's like I see what they were going for. You know, it was this unstoppable killing machine. But she also seemed to be an unstoppable killing machine, so there was no sense of jeopardy between the two of them, you know?
Okay, so let's set up a little bit here. So we obviously set up, we got them there. So what happens when they get in there is there's this little pad that is meant to teleport Iria to the zone.
This is in the building that these guys go into to find. They follow the wire to the building that's stealing electricity.
And, you know, shenanigans. So one of them gets bumped into this fucking thing and then sent to the...
No, one of them's standing on the pad, and the other the other one stumbles and then accidentally hits the switch that turns it on.
Shenanigans.
And then he gets teleported out, and he's like, and his buddy's like, "What the fuck? Where are you?"
He disappeared, and then Iria takes the other dude with her, which seems like a fucking dumb idea.
No, she doesn't take him with her. She goes up and jumps on the pad, and she hits the igniter or initiator or whatever it is, and she's like, "Fuck off, dude!" And then he jumps up after her, and he's like, "You don't tell me to fuck!" And then they both get transported accidentally.
I don't think I was paying much attention here. I wasn't paying attention to what they were doing.
This part's a little bit boring.
I was waiting for fucking Zeiram to jump on screen again.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I can understand that.
And she immediately goes, "Hey, you're in the way," and she throws a thing on his fucking chest, and it's like this thing that freezes him. It's like carbonite, but it's this plastic shell that he gets trapped in.
Which Bob later claims is hardened rubber.
Is that what he says? Does he say hardened rubber? That's funny.
Because eventually, like, she traps Zeiram, and then it gets out. They don't know how, because they weren't there at the time. And, I'm getting way ahead of the story, but Bob says, "I don't see how he could have escaped all that hardened rubber."
Oh, well, shit. So Iria has to destroy the pod also that Zeiram came in, and it's this slimy, fucking gross thing that he pops out of. It's great. It's cool looking. That's all I want. That's all I want to see. I just want more of that.
It's basically his ship
that
she destroys.
Zeiram has this cool gun. It's like fleshy and weird looking.
It's pretty Cronenbergy. It's got like a skull on the front, the mouth of which is the barrel of the gun.
And then he creates these weird little monsters from these eggs that he pulls out of his throat vagina that we don't see as a throat vagina just yet.
Yeah, that happens later.
But later we learn that it also that head that pops out of its like hat looking thing, it feeds...
is attached to a giant fucking dick.
Yes, it is attached to a giant fucking dick. But we learn that it eats things and absorbs their power or whatever
their DNA.
They have, their DNA, and it can create little clones. So I'm guessing that's where all these little monsters came from.
Yep, something that it's eaten in the past.
And they're really creepy.
They are pretty grotesque.
They look like the little demons from The Gate.
A little bit, not quite. But if you can imagine like a more Cronenbergy type, like if you take the Rick and Morty Cronenbergs and cross them with the creatures from The Gate, that's kind of what you'd get.
One of them looks like Station from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey because it has that huge ass and stuff. It's really funny. So, yeah, let's talk about this first meeting between Iria and Zeiram. Zeiram shows up, as he always does, just in silhouette, and he's all awesome. And like you said, they're just kind of firing machine guns back and forth at each other. Nothing's happening.
This is the most boring action exchange I've seen in a very long time.
We do the reason that the gun is not working is because the body of Zeiram is not really the body at all.
And also he's using a shield. Bob says that.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's not really the body at all. It's like an exosuit thing. The creature itself is actually just the head.
Yeah, the body is sort of an Ed 209, if you like a biological robot.
I was gonna say, but it is biological. Around. It is really slimy, and
it's all slimy. It's all fleshy. It's very grotesque, very Cronenberg. Love it. Love the design. But yeah, basically the hat that it's wearing is in fact Zeiram.
I wonder how they handle that in the second one because the hat is there, but there is no face.
Well, the face got blown off. Spoiler alert.
I assume it's a different Zeiram, obviously, but like. I don't know. Yeah, we will, because I'm gonna buy that shit and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna watch it. So she does a little morphing sequence thing. She morphs into her white suit that covers none of her vital organs. So whatever, I guess. And then she puts on these dopey looking fucking goggles.
The fucking like janky VR headset that she wears.
The only reason they do that is so her stunt double can fight in close up.
Yep.
Because the stunt double's doing some awesome like spin kicks and taekwondo shit, but she is not.
It's fine. It looks really weird, but
it looks like a fucking Power Ranger show.
Yeah, it does. Definitely.
This scene in particular looks very Power Ranger-y, and I'm there for it. And she kind of gets her ass kicked.
And by the way, that's why I keep calling them Bulk and Skull, because these two guys have about the same level of charisma and humor as Bulk and Skull. Like, these guys are filling the role of Bulk and Skull. They are obnoxious. They are very campy.
This was 2 years before Power Rangers came out, too.
Really? So this is what, 87?
91.
Power Rangers didn't come out till 93?
Yeah, we have talked about this so many times.
I know. That's the embarrassing thing. We've been talking about this for 6 years now, or something like that. 5 years at least. No, 6 years, because it was the summer I was 39 that we first met up. Or no, spring of that I was 39. So yeah, it's been 6 years.
It should be mentioned also that this is the scene where we first see the head pop out, because she's set up all these little traps around this little area, and the first trap that pops up is this wire thing that like wraps itself around the body, but the little head on the hat pops out and like bites them all and breaks the ropes. And it's really creepy and gross looking. And
the head has that detaching jaw like the spider creature.
Yes. Dude, I wonder if this is like the same thing. Maybe you had the same designer and stuff.
Yeah, it's very creepy and gross.
And she keeps on carrying around these little like cards that are also very Power Ranger-y that she'll throw at them and they explode.
Everything looks like it could be picked up off of a toy shelf. So in that respect, super Power Ranger-y. It's just like the shit's more grotesque is all. That's it. But it still all looks like it could be on a toy shelf.
And I love it to death.
Where's our line of Zeiram toys?
In Japan. At those adult bookstores.
Probably.
They're like Todd McFarlane toys over there.
Yep.
That'd be awesome. No, not
enough. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking McFarlane.
Not enough people have seen this to fucking make that a thing.
Probably not.
But she sets another trap, and this one's like spears and shit, but still doesn't work.
Oh, that's way later, though.
It's just a minute later. She's like following him around. It's after the fight.
Yeah, but that's a completely different fight.
No, it's not. It's the same fight.
No, it's a different fight.
No, it's right there. It's the same fight. The first fight
I thought
scene,
for sure some shit went down with her and the dudes between those.
Nope. The first fight scene lasts forever. Like, it intercuts a little bit with Tepe wandering around by himself.
Oh, okay. That's what threw me off then. All right. That makes sense. Yeah.
And then he finds...
This is the whole section. This is where I was like, we could lose so much of this shit.
Because no, we can't.
This
is the stuff you want to see.
This is a dog shit fight.
This is action.
Isn't even good.
This is what you want to see.
I want to see action, but most of this I'm not saying all, but most of this action is not good.
This is what it looks like, man. This is what it is.
Most of the action in this fight is not good.
This is literally what Tokusatsu looks like.
I think you just explained why I'm not a huge Tokusatsu fan, because I like the high concept stuff. Like, you asked me for like a gold standard fight. I'll tell you, Hokkaider, the angel fight at the end of Hokkaider, masterful, loved it. This is pedestrian. I want that interesting shit.
It's interesting to me.
This opening fight doesn't interest me at all. I was so ready for this movie to be over by this point.
And it goes forever. But it's like 10, 15 minutes long, too.
Eventually we get past it, and like some shit does start to happen. Like she starts interacting with the guys. And that was driving me crazy, too, is like these guys are just fucking wandering around the streets of this desolate city. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't ring true, like if this happened, if these guys were transported, but I didn't like their characters already.
Yeah, eventually she does get the upper hand on Zeiram, and she gets him trapped in that little, I guess, super hard rubber container thing.
And then I was like, and that's the end. Movie over.
Well, then I'm like, okay, something weird's gonna happen now. So essentially, she proves to Tepe, she's like, dude, we're in a fucking alternate dimension. Can't you see that? Here you go. And then
at some point she like lights up the sky and it goes from night to day.
Really
and then
quick.
It eventually fizzles out and goes from day to night. And I was like, that's their justification for the fact that they couldn't shoot this all in one night. They're like, all right, we're gonna have to shoot some stuff tomorrow. How are we gonna work it into the script? She turns the night into day.
These movies aren't exactly like Hollywood movies. Nobody's like, here's millions of dollars to make your dumb monster movie. Because this is B movie stuff even there.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
And then this actress was like in dramas and shit. She was a stage actress, so this is new to her too.
I didn't get the feeling she was an action star.
No, not at all. She's like really pretty and kind of mousy, but then also badass at the same time. She like can be. I think they, but that's why they have stunt doubles. She definitely has some attitude, which I appreciate. So
too bad she's not a teenager with attitude.
Because that would turn you on more? Or
no, because Power Rangers. I'm making a Power Rangers reference, you sicko.
I made him uncomfortable. How about that?
I don't want to be associated with that.
Oh my god. He even had like more Predator references. I forgot to bring up the fact that Zeiram had a fucking Predator gun on his shoulder.
I don't remember that at all.
He loses like his like handgun, and then he had a fucking shoulder gun.
I don't remember that at all. What?
Like,
how did I miss that?
And he was like jiggling around and fucking shooting at her. It didn't like aim or anything, but it was on there.
I just remember him having that, like he pointed a laser pointer at the guy at one point and like is like pressing the button and then just shit's exploding around him.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Apparently Zeiram is a terrible shot.
So they're about to go back to the real world, but nothing can go right. This is sitcom level bullshit right here. One of those creepy little monsters, the one with the huge ass,
that had gotten away earlier. Well, like they had fought it, but it had run off.
Yep. It comes and jumps on top of everybody, and Iria's like, oh my god, I gotta fight this fucking thing, and then eventually it ends with her, like that little scene ends with her teleporting back without the two guys.
Yeah, because they're standing right underneath the teleport beam when it fires, and so her and the monster get transported back into the room where Bob's waiting.
And they're just left there with Zeiram in that thing. They're just staring at him.
Yeah, and then the monster she's fighting like destroys the teleporter, or disables the teleporter somehow.
And then she stabs him right in the fucking face.
Right in the eye.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. And then it dies a slow and painful death.
It dies pretty quick.
And then Bob's like, shit's broken. We're fucked. We might as well just cut our losses now and just be done with it. It's fine. They're going to revoke our license. There's a lot of talk of like revoking their license. And I'm like,
apparently they're breaking some rules by even interacting with these humans and stuff. So like the idea is that the little pocket dimension they've created is going to collapse and basically destroy everything in it, which leads to the question, why don't they just leave Zeiram there then, if that's
because they won't get their bounty.
Oh, that's right. They're doing it for a bounty. I forgot.
Yep. Until later when she's finally like, I just have to help them because I'm not an asshole.
And then in the end, when she just face shoots Zeiram, blows up its fucking dickhead.
I lied, by the way. The monster that pops up next is the one that has the big ass like station back in the zone, and it has 3 faces, and it's really creepy.
Oh yeah, that one is pretty grotesque.
Bob is like, I don't even remember what the fuck Bob is doing. Bob's
panicking because he can't do shit. He's just a computer.
Yeah, he's just like, he is literally just like, fuck it, cut our losses. We'll just lose our license. Later, he'll be like, I am against what you are trying to do. When we go to trial, just can make it noted that I am not involved anymore. So Iria also left like a bag of her shit, and Kamiya and Tepe are kind of sitting on the steps, kind of digging through it. There's like a bunch of stuff that we don't really know what it is, and eventually he pulls out this thing. He's like, "Oh, what's this? There's one more thing, and it's like this thing in a plastic like casing."
It does look like a white silicone cockroach.
It does. He's like, "I think it's food." I don't know why you'd think that automatically. Like, there's no labels on it. There's nothing on it.
It is kind of wrapped like food, though. Yeah. It's like kind of vacuum sealed.
It's wrapped like food or a toy.
I
can't. Yeah.
My thought was he was going to think it was food, pull it out, and it's going to turn out to be some weapon that like just causes all kinds of problems.
Me too. It did not, though. And then Kamiya...
No, he literally ate it later.
Yeah, he eats it later. Kamiya says that he hates loud women and cockroaches.
Kamiya's such a bitch.
But he's funny.
He makes me whines this whole movie.
The voice actor for him on the dubbed version is actually really funny too. The way he emotes and stuff, it's pretty good stuff. So this 3-face monster, he shows up while the two are just bullshitting, and Tepe has to shoot it in the ass because it attacks Kimiya, but he's like, use the gun, and I'm like, how do you know what any of these fucking guns do? So this part bugs me because he pulls out it's like a little pull string on this gun thing, and he shoots him in the butt.
It kind of looks like like one of those firecracker things.
Yeah.
Like that's what this looks like. But he has in his other hand what looks like a very regular gun, which he does not use. He instead uses the pull firecracker thing.
He uses the pull gun, and then I'm like, wait, is it just done now? How do you know it's out of ammo? You've never even seen one of these. He just throws it aside and then uses the regular gun. But he can't shoot anything because he's a fucking asshole. Then Kimiya gets up and he grabs the gun. He's like, there, pussy. Then he starts shooting. And also, they have both, like, very casually just shot a bunch of holes in the fucking thing that's keeping Zeiram.
No, they specifically
they shoot the little thing.
They shot the little thing that she shot off of her Power Rangers card thing.
Yeah. So that's not good. Zeiram is free now. He's just the thing disappears and he's just out. So now they're on their own having to deal with the Zeiram shit. So Iria has the bright idea to just get the guys to fight for them so they won't lose their bounty hunter license, because that's the responsible thing to do.
She's like, look, we're fucked anyway. They stand the best chance of survival if I teach them how to fight.
Zeiram does not die when you run it over with a car, by the way.
Which, believe it or not, they do. Didn't see that one coming, did you?
It spits its dick face out and...
the dick face.
and bites Kimiya on the arm, rips out this fucking chunk. It's pretty gross looking.
It's gnarly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's how he clones things. So
they finally get it to go back in by the dude throws a bicycle on top of the dick's neck. And then it's like, it goes back into the hat.
And this is where like the guys run away and everything. You know, Zeiram, he's like pushed up against the fence with the car, and he pushes the truck out of the way. It's a truck, it's not a car. Huh? But this is where.
But it's one of those little Japanese
one,
trucks.
Yeah.
I want to get one of those so bad. They look so cool.
This is where he disrobes, and you see that slimy body armory thing, and where he pulls another egg out of his vagina
his neck badge,
and he squeezes it, and this white shit falls down, and then this gross little thing starts popping up. It looks like the dude in Hellraiser when he's like inflating.
Yeah.
But he's also kind of like wiggling around, and it looks like also the beginning of like, I have no mouth and I must scream, what those creatures might look like as they're like deforming. But it's supposed to be a Kimiya clone.
Yeah.
But he apparently didn't get enough DNA from him or something.
Something happened in the process that fucked it up. And this thing is...
And
this thing is not looking sexy.
It's so creepy. It is fucking probably the grossest thing in the whole movie. And like the most disturbing part of the movie.
His solution is he just fucking stomps its head.
Yes.
And green slime just fucking blows out of its eyeball.
And you actually almost feel bad for the thing. It's actually pretty...
Oh, it's very pathetic.
It's kind of disturbing.
Yeah,
that's actually a pretty fucked up piece of the movie.
If I wasn't already convinced that Zeiram was evil, this would have done it, because it's pretty cold-blooded.
So we cut back really quick to the real world, where the people that Kimiya was supposed to be hanging out with are all at the bar, and because Kimiya just said, "Oh, everybody's waiting for me. Everybody likes me. I'm awesome."
Oh, and they're actually in the parallel dimension version of the bar that they were supposed to meet everybody in.
Yes,
because this whole city thing is basically a scan of the city that they were in, only minus all the people.
And nobody actually likes Kimiya. It's kind of sad.
Oh yeah, they're all just shit talking him.
He seems like a nice guy. I'd hang out with him. He's a little weirdo.
He seems like a douchey weirdo, but you know, like
fun
we all
douchey
have
weirdo.
Douchey weirdo friends.
Yeah. And then Tepe's eating the fucking cockroach. Sure, just do it, I guess.
He just takes a big old fucking bite of its head. And he's like, it's not actually bad at all.
So the teleporter's broken. This part really bothered me. Apparently they can teleport. She can teleport small objects because she teleports a little not a translator, like a communicator to them. Because she has to talk to them and be like, hey guys, go fight that big giant monster, please. And they're like, no thank you, we're just gonna run. How does that sound? And then we get like a good Scooby-Doo chase for a second, which is actually kind of fun. They hide in where are they, like they're probably in like the back of the beer place.
It's a beer, it's a beer factory. And there are all these stacks of like, you know, like the milk crate looking things that big glass bottles of beer are shipped in. Only all of them are empty, but they're getting knocked about, and we hear all the clinking of the glass and stuff. But all the things are empty. like I said, the transfer on this is actually pretty good, and you can see every single one of them's empty. There's not a glass bottle to be seen.
Even though they're hiding amongst all this beer, fucking Zeiram has to find them. Grenades don't do shit. Apparently, Iria left a bunch of grenades in that bag, so they just waste all the grenades, and they do nothing. They, like, kind of daze him for a second, but he's out in a minute. But Kimia maybe didn't make it, so Teppei's kind of on his own for a second.
Yeah, it looks like he might have gotten, like, blown up or something like that, or died in the explosion.
So now we know that weapons aren't going to hurt this thing, but apparently there might be one weapon that might do the trick. It's called the Metis Cannon. And
I was going to say the power of friendship.
Oh, well, they do have that. But apparently by using this weapon, Iria and Bob will then become fugitives because they haven't paid for it. It hasn't been approved. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why are we talking about all the bureaucratic shit that's going along with this?
This is their attempt to show us that behind the scenes world that Hokkaido actually did pretty well. But you can tell that there's not enough depth because it hasn't been thought out well enough.
Hokkaido came out 4 years after this.
I'm not saying they're trying to emulate the success of Hokkaido. What I'm saying is they're trying to do something that Hokkaido did well, that this movie does not do as well, which is to give us that backstory to make the world feel richer and deeper than the simplicity of what they're presenting on screen. Hokkaido did that very well. Zeiram, not so much.
Yeah, they had to create an entire, like, TV show to explain shit to us,
which is fine. I'm not hating on the world of Zeiram. Like it, I would love to see a richer, deeper Zeiram world. I'm sure if they did a manga of it, it would be very interesting. But it needs that depth of story. It doesn't need that depth of story in this specific story. It needs that depth of story in the world. It needs a world with lore built around it so that it makes more sense. It felt a little tacked on. Again, I'm not trying to hate on this because this is a good time.
Yeah, have a little fucking fun, bro. At this point, Teppei has to get to the 0 point in order to get the cannon that they're going to be teleporting to him.
Does that mean something that I'm not aware of?
The 0 point is apparently like where they are in relation to them. Like that's where the teleporter is, like in the real world. In their world, I think that's what that means. Is that
like a thing people understand? Because like I had no fucking clue.
I think they reference it in the movie. I don't remember. That's just how I understood it.
All right.
So Teppei has to ride a scooter like a fucking badass, but and oh, dude, this guy's getting blown up. Did you see those explosions? They were like right next to that guy's head.
Yes.
Holy shit.
That was.
They probably weren't that close, but like they looked real good.
One of them looked like it rocked his world a little bit, and it was. I was gritting my teeth a little bit, going, "Ooh, that was close."
Apparently, part of this stunt didn't work either, but it's a good thing that it didn't work because they would have ran right into the costume, the Zeiram costumed actor. Apparently, the part where he like almost stops and he flies off the scooter and it just barely misses Zeiram. Like a wire broke, and that's the only reason it went off in the other direction and just missed him. There's like an 18-minute like making of documentary on the Blu-ray, and I watched it and I'm like, holy shit. But yeah, no, this guy almost got blown up. I swear to God he did. They didn't mention that, but like, wow.
No, some of those explosions look really, really upsettingly close.
So this dude flies off this scooter and is about to get fucking got by Zeiram, but Kimia shows up and saves the day, but he doesn't really do anything. It looks like it's going to be awesome because he's like silhouetted in this fucking heavy machinery thing.
It's like a small backhoe.
Yeah, and it looks like something awesome is going to happen, but he's dumb and he's an electrician and he can't figure out how to work it.
It's so anticlimactic. He comes charging in and you're like, hero shot, right? Like immediately. That, I got to say, the comedy of that was pretty solid.
Like, he does save his friend, which is cool, but, like, nothing happens. It was funny.
And he gets up to him and just, like, immediately fails to do anything.
But he tried, so you got to give him credit for that. And for some reason, Iria shows up. Like, there's no mention of them having fixed the teleporter at all. She just, like, poof. I'm like, is there a deleted scene? Or did they forget to write it? Or did they put it in the script and just be like, never mind?
They were just like, wait, we got to get her in there. She just shows up. Fuck it.
She has a bazooka, though, and she fucking blows a hole right in Zeiram, and, like, the thing starts to get back up again, but it falls, and I'm like, is that the fucking Metis cannon?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because it is, I mean, it's a cannon. Like, she's, it's a bazooka. It looks like the fucking The one from fucking Predator or something like that.
But no, but the thing starts to get up again, and they're like, dude, shoot it again. She's like, I only brought one fucking bullet, one fucking thing. What that does accomplish, though, is that it destroyed the outside of this fucking exoskeleton thing.
It rips up out of the body. The skeleton rips up out of the flesh.
It looks so cool. It's this mix of stop motion, whatever the fuck else.
It's pretty cool.
It looks pretty awesome.
This is all really good. Like this is what I came here for.
Yeah, exactly, right? This is what I'm waiting for. This is like the last half hour of the movie, and this is basically
they do keep escalating it, and it's cool. It's cool. I got no complaints here.
The head's still intact, but it's attached to this creepy little skeleton. They all gotta go.
It's a creepy fucking big skeleton.
Yeah,
is what it is.
It's a pretty big skeleton, yes. They all gotta go and get this damn cannon, so they go together. They're in this building, and they're like, where is it? This is the 0 point, and Bob's like, yeah, it's upstairs. I'm like, seriously, Bob?
He's like, sorry, I dropped it on the roof.
Get your shit together. So they start running up the stairs, and then Iria has this fight with Zeiram in the stairs with, like, grenades and shit. And the skeleton doesn't really it's not a normal skeleton like you'd think coming out of the suit that it came out of. It's like a spider creepy crawly thing. It's got like 4 legs.
There's some very distinct things, like it does this thing with its claw
when it's going up the stairs
that is very specifically reminiscent of both John Carpenter's The Thing and The Fly, Cronenberg's The Fly.
Yes.
Which The Fly had come out like 2 or 3 years earlier, something like that, like in 87, I think.
87, 88, yeah.
Yeah, so The Fly was really big. But it does this like where the claws curl under and it's like walking on the knuckles.
And that's that's the practical effect. There's no stop motion there, like somebody was actually like doing that.
Yeah. And that's it was an artistic choice in terms of crafting those claws that was very specifically reminiscent of one of the shots in The Thing, as well as some of the stuff from The Fly. Eventually,
she's like fighting this dude, and she hooks a grenade onto his rib cage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it like locks on.
Yeah. And then she right before it explodes, she like jumps out the window.
No, she kicks herself back out the window backwards. His arm is still attached to her neck.
Is it?
Yeah, and she throws herself out the window, and it blows up, and the arm just comes with her. And it blows up right in her fucking face. The stunt woman who did this took a ball of fire to the face. It was impressive. But Zeiram is not down.
Oh, no, he's never dead. So they reach the weapon.
She's never dead.
She. I keep doing that. It's a she.
It's got tits.
It literally does.
This incarnation.
Which I'm led to believe is like the creature's true form or something.
Yeah.
So the guys themselves reach the weapon, but Zeiram breaks through the bottom of the floor and comes right after them.
And then they get the crate open for the weapon. It's all disassembled.
And it's in like pieces, and they're like, how do you work this thing? And they're trying to shoot Zeiram. Then the other guy's like, give me that. And it doesn't work at all. But Iria shows up at the last second, and she like puts the cannon together, and then this is why this thing works, because it looks like an effect from a Super Sentai show.
Yeah.
She like pulls the trigger, and it like grows into this big glowing ball of power, and then she lets it go, she shoots it, and it blows this motherfucker up or something.
Fucking vaporizes that body. And doesn't destroy the hat, though.
All that's left is the hat head. And then Iria traps it in one of those little rubber contraptions, and everything's cool now. And the whole time, we haven't really mentioned this, we mentioned this once, but the whole time this has been happening, the zone has been like on the verge of closing. Now they have like 8 minutes or whatever.
The zone closing specifically, we could have lost 5 minutes of, because they drag out a lot of it to try and manufacture tension.
They definitely do a little bit, but they all make it back to the real world at this point. So Zeiram isn't done yet, though.
Not all of them. The two human protagonists, the two Bulk and Skull, make it back to the real world.
And then Bob's like, hey, could you go ahead and grab Zeiram off the thing there for a minute so Iria can come through? They're like, oh, fuck this. So they go and try to grab it, and then she fucking starts flying again.
She levitates within the little field, or the little thing.
Yep, she's floating around. She
flies over, smashes the power cables that like keep the teleporter connected with the little device that's on the outside of the obelisk thing she's trapped in, destroying it and letting her out.
And then she falls to the ground, flips over, and then...
Well, the funny thing is, in that form, she's still kind of pathetic, because, like, don't they, like, hit her or something, and she just,
like, she's, like, flying around, and they pop her in the head with, like, a pipe or something, and then she falls down. and then she flips herself over, and then like sprouts all these limbs, and then this body comes out, and yes, there's tits.
They are the grossest tits you've ever seen.
And the body is all gooey and gross and yuck, and just
this is some John Carpenter's The Thing right here too.
And it's beautiful.
It's so gross.
I wrote down that Zeiram is like that boss in a video game that just has 1,000 never-ending forms, and you just can't fucking win.
I was thinking Zeiram would make a good video game.
On a single fucking life bar, too. Every time.
Yep.
So Kamiya then has to repair the fucking cable that Zeiram broke. Because they have her, like, outside. They, like, managed to get her outside of this door, and they're piling stuff up and trying to hold her. And Bob's like, one of you assholes has to come over here and fix this thing so she can come back and help you. And Kamiya's like, okay, I'm gonna go do the thing. So he does
he's old, he's got the most experience. Yes. We've seen him. He up to this point, like he hot wired the car. He's the guy who's repairing shit all the time. He may be a buffoon, but he's got skills.
Yeah. So he barely makes it. He just fixes the thing. Iria comes in,
and meanwhile, Iria is trapped in the world, which is collapsing,
literally collapsing
all around her. She's on like this tiny little island that keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking around her.
But she makes it like in the nick of time.
And honestly, she shouldn't have made it at the rate that thing was collapsing.
Well,
I'm sorry, she shouldn't have made it.
That is true, but she's too pretty to die. I said, so Iria makes it back once again in the nick of time to save these guys by ... shooting the thing in the head a couple times, which I realized after I wrote that it no longer has armor. So I'm pretty sure bullets will actually do something this time.
Its whole body thing had like come out of the protective hat.
And she is just fucking emptying this giant revolver gun.
She shoots so many shots into it. And it's a revolver. Like you can see the chamber spinning with each click. So like it must be reloading every time a chamber passes the thing.
Yep.
It must be automatically reloading or something.
And she's looking right in the camera as she's doing this.
With conviction. Oh, she's just like playing it.
Yep, she's fucking
like she's
serious.
Fucking Dirty Harry. The final moment is the giant dick is
like the giant dick head comes
menacing
up.
her, and it's like coming forward, and then she just like boom, and it just pops like a fucking balloon. It's pretty fucking great.
Since that part was always visible and it took one shot to kill it, could you not have just aimed for that thing in the first place?
Well, remember, it was using a shield when it was in Zeiram form. Bob said that.
Yeah, but like...
I think the idea is it was like an energy shield or something like that.
All right. God damn it. Anyways, everything's cool. Zeiram is actually dead now. So they're not going to get their bounty
until the sequel, at least.
Well, yeah, I don't know how the sequel happens, so I don't know if it's the same one or a different one or what the fuck.
Who knows?
So, yeah.
I mean, you said that the dickhead doesn't make a second appearance, but
as far as I know, yeah.
It could be because it got popped, so now it comes back as something else. I don't know.
Because it's wearing like an actual hat. It looks like this time. And there's no face on it.
I just love the idea of like it's Zeiram, but now it's got like a little trucker hat on front.
No, it's still got the same kind of Edo sort of hat. Watch the trailer. It's interesting to look at. The all the characters are there.
Same actors.
Same actors, same characters. It's awesome. Completely different setting though. So it's going to be definitely a different experience. Similar vibe though. It's like,
are we getting more depth of story? That's what I want to know.
I doubt it.
If not, I can probably safely miss it. But
you cannot safely miss it because it's going to be awesome.
If they deepen the story a little bit, if they deepen the lore, I could be into it.
Watch the prequel anime. It's only 6 episodes. Everybody's happy for the most part, except for the poor dudes who missed their dates.
They're not. I'm sure they're not stoked about that. But they made a new friend.
They made a new friend who shows her thanks by cutting off locks of her hair randomly, and
then Bob's like, "This is important to her. Take them." Both the guys are like, okay, I guess we better then.
I think my girlfriend is going to think this is super fucking weird.
Where'd you get that? Alien bounty hunter.
And then Bob is like, hey, I'm going to take a picture of you guys. I'm like, sure, Bob. That's weird. That's weird. It just ends with a freeze frame of them like having taken a picture with
That didn't surprise me at all. That felt very Power Rangers.
That literally did. That's how they end fucking episodes of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Like, really. But remember, Power Rangers didn't exist yet. It was Super Sentai.
But,
which this director worked on.
Yeah.
He directed the first episode
of Ranger?
No. He did. Yeah, he did actually. Yes. Let's see. It didn't say how many episodes of Jew Ranger he worked on. Yes, it says he did Dynaman and Light Squadron Maskman and the very first episode of Sentai Jetman, and then he did not do any Jew Ranger.
Oh,
nope, he did. I lied. Fucking A, it's right there. But I don't know how many episodes he did.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all there. It all makes sense. Actually, he probably did the creepy fucking like Satan Frankenstein episodes. Now that I think of it,
that would be on brand for this guy. This guy loves creepy shit,
and those were kind of my favorite episodes.
He's pretty good at it.
Yeah, I want to watch more of his stuff. He has like a really short Ultraman versus Kamen Rider thing. It's like 9 minutes long. I really want to check that out. I want to see Cyber Ninja so fucking bad. It's based on like an old Sega game. So actually, that's the first video.
Well,
game
is it
movie.
based on the Sega game, or is the Sega game based on it?
Not entirely sure. Do you have final thoughts?
If this is your kind of thing, based on what you've heard in terms of an explanation, I feel like you have more than enough information to decide whether or not this is your type of thing. If it is, by all means, check it out. If you enjoyed Hokkaido, I think you'll probably find a lot of stuff to enjoy here. You may not enjoy the whole thing. You may enjoy the whole thing. I enjoyed the final fight quite a bit. It was too long, but I didn't hate it. I don't think I really feel any inclination to watch it again. I would probably watch Hokkaido again before I watch this again. But yeah, I didn't hate it.
That's fair. You might be wrong, but that's fair.
I'd give this a 3 out of 5. I'd give this a 3 out of 5.
Nope, this is exactly what I was looking for. Just like Hokkaido was exactly what I was looking for. I just want more of this. I just like this thing. And I'm sure I'll be able to find lots more like it. Diving into this stuff is kind of my favorite. And now I really want to go watch Jetman. Even though that is for kids. That is squarely in a kid-centric space, except apparently Jetman was also skewed a little bit more adult. So,
well, is it for kids or is it for adults? What the fuck? You just were like, that one is for kids, but it also skews adult.
It's Super Sentai. Super Sentai is technically a kid show, but that one is a little bit more mature from what I gather. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if I'm misremembering, but whatever. Who fucking cares? Sharks Across Tokyo is done for this week. Now we can pretend to be Sharks Across Hollywood again and tell you to go follow us on everything at the Shark Pod for the social media nonsense and give us money at patreon.com/Sharks Across Hollywood. See, Sharks Across Hollywood. There you go. But we're in Tokyo right now. Roar, Godzilla. We're going to come back next week for a movie that's probably going to be just as weird as this, but maybe better because Takashi Miike is kind of fucking awesome.
I have not seen a single Takeshi Miike film that I did not feel was well worth my time.
Good. I'm psyched.
For one reason or another. Not always necessarily for the same reason, but everything I've seen from him has greatness in it, if nothing else.
So next week, it's Zebra Man, which is going to be a complete departure from this kind of stuff. It's going to be way different. Also, different director, different tone altogether, I think. So I hope everybody's excited. Because I'm fucking excited because I've never seen it.
I actually am excited about this one. Also, if you want to follow my comedy, follow me on Instagram at Samuel Mantz. That's MANTSZ. You can also find that in the link on our Instagram profile. Also, if you want to check out some cool music, check out Not For Nothing Music, Andrew's band, at Not For Nothing Music. Also linked in our profile.
That's not true at all. I haven't put any of that shit in there.
I'm pretty sure I put it in there.
Oh, good. I'm glad you did. Because I suck ass. Big, fat, fucking station ass.
Bidet or toilet papered?
He's an alien. He doesn't even have an anus. Just has big butt cheeks.
Well, I didn't figure you were talking about station's ass. I thought you were talking about station style ass.
No, I was talking about station's ass.
Like you find men and women who have asses like station. I've seen them.
Oh, well, I mean, that too. That is, yeah.
So, again, my question stands. You preferred bidet or toilet papered?
I think I need to go think about some things.
All right, that went nowhere. Check out our social media, and if you want to follow mine and Andrew's individuals, those are also linked in our Instagram. So
you bidet it and then you toilet paper it. That is just the way it goes.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
There you go. All right, are we actually done? Can I tell everybody to come back next week for Zebra Man, and until then, stay jawsome?